The idea of my body as a black woman being mine hasn't always been true. It wasn't even in the original version of the Constitution. It had to be added in later. So it may be naive to think, as we live through this moment where the constitutional right to an abortion and to bodily autonomy has been taken away from us, that it would be impossible for the U.S. to continue reversing women's rights. In a New York Times op-ed, law professor Michelle Goodwin lays out the argument that the Supreme Court ignored the intent of bodily autonomy for black women in the 13th and in the 14th Amendments. Additionally, she argues that the horrors inflicted on black women during slavery have been all but wiped from cultural and legal memory. Michelle Goodwin joins me now. She's a chancellor's professor at law at the University of California, Irvine, and I am so excited to have this conversation. Professor, you also note in your piece that black women's forced pregnancies were a foundational piece of slavery. You say, quote, if cotton was euphemistically king, black women's wealth maximizing forced reproduction was queen. So help us understand how black women historically have really never had the right to bodily autonomy, at least up until the Reconstruction Amendments.
That's right. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And it's a grave error in how we have plumbed or interpreted history that we fail to take into account what everybody knew. And that is, as a foundational matter, black women were the subjects of kidnap, of labor trafficking, of sex trafficking. That was part of what American slavery was. It was explicitly the denial of bodily autonomy and liberty to make decisions about whether one wanted to labor in a certain way. And very specifically for black women, it wasn't just about picking cotton or being in the fields with sugarcane. It was explicitly the rapes, the sexual assaults, and being forced to reproduce against their will. It was something that abolitionists wrote about. It was covered in the New York Times. It was spoken about by members of the Senate. And black women articulated themselves how opposed they were to this. Sojourner Truth famously in her speech, Ain't I a Woman, began it with saying, and I bore 13 children and saw each one of them snatched from my arms, and nobody heard my cry, but God, ain't I a woman?
It's really, really important to have all of that in your mind as you think through the moment that we're currently in, and you consider some of these arguments that are put forward by the justices in the majority. Do you consider forced birth a form of involuntary servitude? I think that, people have sort of made the point that you're forcing people to go into labor, literally.
That's absolutely right. As some would say, well, perhaps what they could see in the 13th Amendment is that it opposed rape. But that wasn't it. Explicitly in the text, it abolished slavery and involuntary servitude. That means mandated, coerced, enforced pregnancies that black women didn't want. It wasn't just the rapes themselves, but it was also understood that black women's reproduction was wealth maximizing for the people who did not care for their lives and who in fact fought to keep them designated as property. The biggest debates that took place with the 13th Amendment and 14th Amendment were that in the South, in these very same states that are enacting anti-abortion legislation, was to keep black women designated as property. That was exactly what they wanted, the only status that they wanted for black women. And as such, the property was also that their wombs would be property, right? That black women were essentially seen as no higher in status than a pig or sheep or cow in the fields. And this is what was being written about, and this is how they understood and talked about black women.
It's so important to know American history. And in that vein, do you make a connection between the rolling back of teaching American history in schools and the attacks against critical race theory and the fact that people are misunderstanding and misinterpreting what this Supreme Court decision means and how it relates to the history that you've just explained to us?
It's an unfortunate perfect storm that we see right now in the desire to paper over these critical aspects of American history that could inform us so much about this very time today. It's a tragedy for our democracy and the rule of law that we see not only the attacks on bodily autonomy, such that now we're in a new Jane Crow, where there are free states and non-free states, but we also see the attacks on the First Amendment, such that people are not supposed to talk about history that involves indigenous people, that involves Black people, that involves the suffrage movement. And at the same time, we see such grave ignorance as it relates to our history. One point that I'll quickly make that stitches so much of this together, when we think about the story of Margaret Garner, she is the subject of the book known as Beloved, written by Toni Morrison and fictionalized. Well, I think it tells a lot about this time that we're in. She escaped from slavery from Kentucky, a place that has enacted anti-abortion legislation, and she did it in the middle of the night in the thick of winter. She crossed a river by foot, and they had mules with them and with her children. She began trying to kill her children when she heard the hounds and dogs coming for her and the shots in the air. She began trying to kill them and herself. She was later charged with murder, and the question around the world, and it was debated all around the world, was she human? Because if she was human, then she could stand trial for murder. But if she was just property and the kid just property, then she could be returned to slavery. Well, the result after asking that question, and even the death of one of those children, was that she is just property. And what that meant was that these systems could continue, because if Margaret Garner were deemed a human being, that would mean Black women would have to be free, and free of this subordination and really torture.
This is why I love talking to professors. Professor Michelle Goodwin, thank you so much for being here today and helping us understand American history in the context of this moment. It's so important. Please stay safe. Hi, I'm Zerlina Maxwell. Thanks for checking out our channel on YouTube. You can see more from Zerlina by clicking any of the videos on this screen, and make sure you subscribe below to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. Thanks for watching.